Education offers our learners a unique opportunity. We give them new worlds to visit, new identities to explore. We give them new perspectives and new eyes to see the world. And for many years at West Van Secondary, we had a very vibrant Spanish program. Lots of trips and fun, popular, great exam results, communicative activities, fiestas every month, and lots of hands-on culture. We had every textbook that was ever printed. We invested incredibly deeply into the latest resources. We had it all. We had the CDs, we had the videos, we had the workbooks, we had the activities, we had grammar games, we had everything to engage our learners and to enhance their path to proficiency. But in spite of that, we had a very deep, dark secret that we didn't share with many, and that was that our kids just didn't understand the language when we used it in the classroom in any sort of authentic way. Any kind of language that they could understand had to be practiced, rehearsed, and or memorized. I'm sure there are many in this room this evening who took 3, 4, or maybe 5 years of another language in a classroom setting and still cannot communicate in an authentic way with a native speaker. This was un gran problema for us. On top of that, we had learners who just couldn't see themselves as language learners. They insisted they could not learn language, even though all of them had at least one and possibly 2 or 3 languages that they had acquired. From our school district, who I have to say promotes innovation and new ideas, we got an action research grant to explore 2 issues. How is language acquired, and how can we help our learners to become authentic communicators in another language? It started with Blaine Ray. Blaine Ray, a well-known workshop presenter and inventor, creator of teaching proficiency through reading and story time. 3 days with Blaine, we were able to communicate in German, tell and retell a story after 3 days of only listening to Blaine telling incredibly crazy stories. His focus was on the issue of the essential question of how is language acquired? Well, folks, it's not through language practice. It's not through grammatical study or doing activities in the classroom. 50 years of research tells us that language can only be acquired through comprehensible input, through listening and understanding. What did that mean for the language teachers? Do you mean all of the things that were near and dear to us? The textbooks, the beautiful worksheets, the fantastic thematic units, they were going to take us nowhere. There is no shortcut, everybody, to language acquisition. It only happens in one way. Through comprehensible input on the left, we acquire language, and that enables us to communicate in some level of proficiency. Just think about it. Children learn language, they become fluent after more or less 5 or 6 years, after 20,000 hours of comprehensible input. Students in a classroom might get 600 hours. Is there a way to actually accelerate that process and stay true to the language acquisition process? Well, after going to Blaine's workshops, the answer is a resounding yes, because humans are wired to learn through stories. Through engaging learners in co-creative and collaborative storytelling, we found the route to true, authentic communication in our classrooms. So we drank the TPRS Kool-Aid, and instead of the textbook, our students became the curriculum. We started talking about things that really mattered to them, who they were, what they loved, what they dreamed about, what were their passions. And it all changed. But everybody, there's one thing. This is the thing about comprehensible input. It has to be compelling, contextualized, and personally meaningful, because boring stuff just doesn't cut it. It'll take us nowhere. And for a teenager, the most compelling thing is actually themselves. And so why not use your students as the curriculum? Because that's what they really care about. And so we talk of everything from school bullying to gender identity in Argentina to what you're going to do on the weekend, because that's what they want to talk about. And we give them the words and the structures to be able to make that happen. The learner is the heart of the curriculum in our classrooms. We have no desks. We just sit around and talk and create crazy stories. Well, going against the grain isn't always easy. We often, my colleague Bess Underhill, I have to put a plug in for her because it wouldn't have been possible without her support. and camaraderie and collegiality. But when the magic happens, you know you were doing the right thing to go against the grain. And taking that leap of faith led to daily joy on an ongoing basis in my classroom, where I know I'm truly communicating with my community of Spanish learners.